Hey everyone, and welcome back to MMTV. This is the second ever episode, and today we are going to talk about my 10 favourite albums of 2014. Now I know this is pretty late for a top 10 of 2014 list, but given that January has been a pretty shitty month for music, I thought it was only fitting that we go back to 2014 when everything was in harmony and everything was great. So here we go, my top 10 of 2014. At number 10, we've got You Me at 6 with Cavalier Youth. This album blew me away the first time I heard it. It was a January album, as, to be honest, a lot of these albums are. And coming off the back of Sinners Never Sleep, this album just made me an even bigger fan of this band. When they released Hold Me Down, I was kind of disappointed because it sounded pretty much the exact same to Take Off Your Clothes. But the addition to their discography of Sinners Never Sleep and now Cavalier Youth has made this band one of my favourites of all time, because they know how to write a good rock song. And songs like Room to Breathe, Cold Night, Too Young to Feel This Old and Live to Lie are the reason this band are so big over in the UK, and I don't understand why they aren't as big over here. This album became an even bigger favourite of mine after I saw them play probably 9/10 of it live when I saw them this year, and it just blew me away. So Unit 6 Cavalier Youth is an amazing album. At number 9 is Fading West by Switchfoot. Switchfoot have been one of the biggest influences on my musical endeavours, and Fading West is no different. Coming off the back of Hello Hurricane and Vice Versa was always going to be a tough thing to follow up, and the way they did this so well is they didn't repeat those albums, they went in the complete opposite direction. They decided to quieten down the guitars a bit more, have less rock songs, and just have good alternative songs that work really well together, and the whole album just flows. With this album they also brought out a documentary, and the music from the album is the soundtrack for that documentary, and you can hear it after you see that documentary. You can hear why the songs sound like they do. Songs like Saltwater Heart, songs like Let It Out, Who We Are. These are the reasons that Switchfoot have such a huge impact emotionally on people, because the lyrics just speak to you. And the music is just, you can feel where they were when they wrote that song, when they were in Australia, when they were in Bali, when they were in South Africa. These songs just have such a big impact, and that's why it's my number 9. At number 8, there's Slipknot with their comeback album, Point 5 The Great Chapter. This album, on first listen, I knew that Slipknot were back, and it was like they hadn't skipped a beat. To be honest, I was never a huge fan of Joey Jordison. I was a fan of his playing on albums, but when I saw them live, he just was sloppy, and so after seeing videos of their new drummer, they're such a tighter unit now. Songs like -1 and Custer and AOV, they hit you right in the face. They punch you right in the face right from the first note. Sarcastrophe is an amazing opening song, and this album just solidified why they are one of the biggest metal bands in the world. At number 7, we have one that surprised me because it came out in December. I'd already had my top 10 list done, but this album just came out of nowhere and knocked a few people off this list. So at number 7, we have Angels and Airwaves with The Dreamwalker. This album, man, just Tom DeLonge has taken Angels and Airwaves to a whole nother level. This is the first Angels and Airwaves album I've ever listened to from start to finish. And that's not to say that all the songs, that there are just filler songs on the other albums, because there's not. I just haven't actually sat down and listened to their whole albums, but I'm going to now after listening to The Dreamwalker, because these songs are so fucking amazing. Like, seriously, if you don't check out this album, you are making a big mistake. The addition of Ilan Rubin to the group has definitely made them write more sonic, and the whole album takes you on a journey, which is amazing. So, Angels and Airwaves came out with an amazing album this year, and they're going to go on to big things. At number 6, I have Of Mice and Men with Restoring Force. Now, before this album, I wasn't a huge fan of Mice and Men. I saw them support Bring Me the Horizon at their show in Sydney a while back, and at that time I hadn't really listened to them at all. I knew the song Second and Sebring, and I knew The Flood, and that's literally all I knew going into that show, and their live performance just blew me away. And when I heard they were writing a new album, I had really big expectations from it, and they did not disappoint. It is the best album they've ever written. All the songs on it are amazing. They're releasing a deluxe version of it this year with more new songs on it, with acoustic songs on it, and it's just, their new vocalist Aaron Pauley is the best vocalist I've ever had. The way him and Austin trade between vocals, just, it's amazing, and it's the best thing they have ever written, and they have something really big to follow up. Restoring Force, they have to make their next album even better, which is a really big thing to pull off. So, Of Mice and Men, Restoring Force. At number 5, we have Beartooth with Disgusting. Beartooth came out of nowhere for me. I was hearing all this buzz about this band called Beartooth, and I just thought, well, that's a weird name, for one, and their album's called Disgusting. Okay, well, I'll check it out and see what it's like. And I've never heard a vocalist project so much emotion with his voice as I have for Caleb Shomo from Beartooth. His vocals just make you feel like he's in pain, but what he's singing about is actually coming straight out of him. It's like he didn't write lyrics, he just came in front of a microphone and just let it all out, and that's what you hear on this record. Songs like Body Bag, In Between, they're open are the lines. As soon as I heard the lines, I knew this album was going to be good. And then leading that up with Beaten in Lips, it's an amazing record, and this year was definitely a top year for metalcore and post-hardcore music. At number 4, there's another album that took me by great surprise, and the only reason I heard of this band is because they did a co-headline tour with one of my favourite bands, Our Last Night, last year. So, Set It Off with Duality. Set It Off, the first time I heard it, the first song from the record, I was like, I don't know, because it was kind of like it was coming from a musical. Then the more I listened to it, I realised they're the new Panic at the Disco. They're the new Fever era Panic at the Disco. Like, people can complain that Panic at the Disco aren't what they are anymore, and that's fine, because they're not. But if you want to go back 2005 and hear an album that's like Fever You Can't Sweat Out, go check out Set It Off and their new album Duality. It's an amazing record. Songs like Duality, songs like Tomorrow, songs like Enemy, and songs like The Haunting. I can't fault the record. There is one song I don't like, and it's called Bleak December, and it's no longer in my copy of the record, which, you know, sometimes you have a crappy song on your record, and that's fine, but it's not going to stop it from being in my top 5 albums. Alright, top 3 time. And this... Actually, no, it wasn't a hard thing to put them in the top 3, because top 2 had been my top 2 all year, and then another unknown band just blew me away this year. And the top 5 bands are all bands I'd never listened to before 2014, and they are the best albums of 2014 for sure. Like nothing tops them. So at number 3 I have Paris with White Noise. Paris are an interesting band, and they've just exploded out of nowhere. They played Warped Tour in 2014 and played one of the last stages, one of the smallest stages on the whole tour, before the record came out, and nobody really knew who they were. They'd only released an acoustic EP. But White Noise is one of the greatest albums since the beginning of this century. And I'm not even kidding. It has the best opening track I've heard in a very long time. Smoke is an amazing song. The drums just punch you in the face. And Lynn Gunn's vocals are the thing that just, they get you addicted to this record. You can't stop listening to it because of her voice. Songs like Smoke, songs like Fire, songs like Eyelids, songs like Mirrors. It's an amazing record. It's a 10 out of 10. They don't do anything wrong on it. There are no filler songs. There are no bad songs at all. It's just Paris going, hey, we're Paris, deal with it. And that's what I love about this record. At number 2, we have Architects with Lost Forever, Lost Together. Architects are an interesting band. They've been through some tough times. I wouldn't know about it personally because this is the first time I've listened to them, and I don't think I could have picked a better album to get on the Architects train. Lost Together, Lost Forever. Lost Forever, Lost Together is, it's an amazing album. Full of songs like Naysayer, full of songs like Cancer. It's just, the guitar tones they get out of this are amazing. The drums sound huge. The guitar work, the guitar riffs, everything, and the vocals just are so crystal clear. It's an amazing record, so it's definitely something you should check out. And then my number one album of the year, my favourite band of all time now because of this record, it's Issues with their self-titled record. I'd never heard of Issues before I checked this record out. I'd heard all this buzz about this band called Issues, and I didn't know what to think of it, and I saw that their record came out. I was like, well, everyone's saying how great this band is. I didn't even look into what kind of music they played. I just pressed play and saw what happened, and just listened to see if I liked it, and fuck, did I like it. There is no bad song on this record at all. Every single song is a 10 out of 10. And this is even more justified when you go and see them live, because I saw them live this year, and the bill was Issues, Architects, and The Affliction. And my favourite bands of the night were Issues, Architects, and The Affliction. The Affliction sucked that night, I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, favourite songs from this record, all of them, but for my top 50 songs of this year, Disappear is number 1. Disappear is one of the greatest songs I've ever heard in my life. This record made me start my band in that genre of music, because I thought, I want to be part of that. Like, you can't not want to be part of that. Sad Ghost is an amazing song. Mad at Myself is an amazing song. One of the best riffs I've ever heard in my life is in Stingray Affliction. Never Lose Your Flames is a great pop, it is a pop rock song. It's an amazing pop rock song. And The Settlement is a great metalcore song, which I can't fault in the least. Tyler Carter is the greatest vocalist in the rock scene, beyond any shadow of a doubt. The things he can do with his voice is amazing, and he should be issues should be at the top of this genre. So anyway, that's my top 10 records of 2014. I hope you enjoyed the list, I hope you agreed with the list, and I hope if you hadn't listened to any of these albums, you go back and you listen to these albums because they're incredible. Anyway, I'm Christian, this has been MMTV, and I'll see you soon.